What's up, guys? Welcome back to John, your daily sports sub, where we plunge in the sports world. We're your sports pipeline for breaking news, game recaps, and the hottest take in the sports industry. So while you're taking care of business, let us flush out the details and fill you in on what's happening. So take a seat, get comfortable. It's time to explode the commode. Alright, guys, on this episode of the John, I'm going to be talking about this exciting weekend coming up in college basketball. It seems like these weekends are coming up again and again, back to back exciting weekends. Then I'm going to be talking about why I think the NHL will be bigger than the NBA in the coming time because of how big this week was for the NHL and the Four Nations Showdown. Finally, a team that I think you guys need to be put on radar with in the upcoming MLB season, and I think they can make some damage in the MLB season. All right, guys, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. I'm John, your host, and today we'll talk about the exciting weekend coming up in college basketball, why the NHL might become bigger than the NBA, and finally, a team to look out for in the upcoming season in the MLB, which I'm beyond excited for. I hope you guys are too. First, I want to talk about college basketball. I got some games pulled up. This weekend is going to be awesome. We have first a 6 versus 7 matchup, Tennessee versus Texas A&M. Now, Tennessee, we've seen them play really well. They beat Illinois at Illinois, which is one of the hardest places to play. They've beaten Kentucky. They've beaten these great teams. And Texas A&M is kind of, I feel like, gone under the radar. Not many people, I think, in general, have been talking about them. I think even though they're the seventh ranked team in the country, I don't think a lot of people are talking about them. And it's interesting because you don't see a lot of teams that are top 10 in the country usually go under or that are under talked about and stuff like that. So it's very interesting and honestly, it's going to be a close game, but I mean Tennessee is too good. I think Sakai Ziegler is a difference maker. Chaz Lanier is another difference maker. They have scores all around. I think even though this is a one differential matchup, I think ultimately that Tennessee is going to win this game, and I don't think it's going to be close. I know that might be a hot take. It's going to be a close game, but I think it's not going to be close at all. And the next game I kind of want to highlight that I feel like not a lot of people are talking about just because Illinois is not ranked, but Illinois and Duke. This is a great battle of just exciting freshmen. We have Yakin Jonas, Will Riley, Tomislav Ivicic, who I know is technically a sophomore, but it's his first year of college basketball on Illinois, and then Duke, Cooper Flag. That's all I have to say. So it's going to be a really exciting battle of teams that are really, really young. And I think it's perfect. They're young, they're exciting, and they're headlining the Garden. That is perfect for college basketball. And that's very intriguing for me as well. I do think Duke will win. Sadly, I don't think my Illini have been playing too well right now. They're also very injury hurt. Morez Johnson's hurt, and also Duke is. I don't know. In case you guys didn't know, Duke is very, very good at basketball. Cooper Flag is probably the best NFL draft prospect I have ever seen, and I saw Zion. Um, I think he is going to be, a difference maker in the NBA, and we've already seen what he can do. I think he's going to win the National Player of the Year award in college basketball. Just what he's done for Duke, and yeah, I know I've been critical of them, kind of saying they don't really have a crazy good conference. I get that, but another thing is like they they win the games they're supposed to win, and when they go to these hard invitationals, they've won these games, and this is another test. Illinois is, even though they're not ranked, Illinois is a very hard team to play. They've had, I think, the 15th hardest schedule in the country, so they're very battle tested. So we'll see. It's also a neutral site game, which will make it very interesting. Next, we got Kentucky versus Bama. What else do I have to say? Bama is one of the best teams, but they've lost two in a row now, and this is a big bounce back for them. This is also a big game for Kentucky. They lost at Rupp Arena against Bama, so we'll see what they can do. And then the final one I really want to highlight is Missouri and Arkansas. Missouri has kind of surprised everyone this year with how good they are, and Arkansas has been the exact opposite. They surprise people just with how bad they've been this year. So I'm excited for them. I'm excited that this is I mean, I love college basketball, and I'm happy that it's finally getting the light that it deserves. But yeah, I hope you guys are excited as well for it, and let me know what you guys think about this college basketball weekend in the comments down below. Next topic I want to talk about, the NHL face-off. Wow. I mean, what a great kind of weekend slash Tuesday, I guess. Um, but yeah, just alone, and this is where I'll get to my point. The NHL Face-Off had 10.1 million viewers in its final, compared to the NBA All-Star Game or whatever that crap show was, where it had 4.7 million people. That's the lowest they've had. That was lower than the year before, so they're progressively going down, and the NHL is progressively going up. And I want to talk about PK Subban, one of the best probably NHL defensemen of all time, was on ESPN, and he brought up a great point that I feel like I've been echoing. Um, that NHL players play hurt and play injured because you can't take a play off in the NHL. But in basketball, all they do is take plays off. And I think that's a great point. And he makes a great point. They're paying you 300, 400, 200 million dollars to play this game for aesthetic beauty, for for the better enrichment of our skill and our interest of the game. We want to see it played to perfection, which is why we're paying 400, 500 bucks for these tickets. I think that he makes a great point that the NBA guys are kind of just there for the money, and we saw this week especially. I mean, I'm not a big hockey guy, and I was watching all these games, so that kind of shows you how intriguing this game is. Because one, these guys are playing for pride, in their countries, and I think the NBA should maybe take a note out of this because not only is the NBA struggling with ratings, but the league is being dominated by European and non-American players right now. I mean, the two guys who are in the lead for the MVP are guys from Canada and Serbia. So it's the league is switching, and the NBA needs to do something like this. I really do. I think that this is something because like the the I want to talk about the prices now. The US Canada final yesterday, the cheapest ticket was 720. The most expensive was just over $5,000. Now, for the NBA All-Star game, like Sunday, the cheapest ticket was $748 and the most expensive was $12,096. Um, does that make any sense to you guys? A league that is losing viewership, losing and going down on ratings is charging more than the NHL, which is not as high on ratings and not as high on viewership. And they just made probably millions of more dollars just off of this All-Star weekend that they did, which I think is a great idea. And I think I'm going to keep on echoing PK Subban. I really do think these NBA players need to find, can you play hurt? Not like hurt, but like Joel Embiid. You're not always hurt. You are hurt. Play hurt. That's what PK Subban's saying. Unless you are physically incapable of doing something, you should not be playing. And I think PK Subban does a great job of echoing that. And I really agree with what he's saying. And he's very good at being critical of the NBA because he was an NHL player. He knows what it takes that guys and he himself have played through injuries to, give people viewership. People pay to go to these games to see their stars play. And then when you go to a game and you don't see your star player playing, what's the point of being there? You go there to see Joel Embiid. You go there to see these guys who are always hurt and not playing, and it's terrible. The NBA has to make a rule about this. You have to have a certain number of games played to be an award, but that's just what the league has become, and it's really, really terrible. And I think the NBA needs to do something like this, where it's kind of like a World Cup thing, where it's USA, like some sort Serbia, Canada. What's another big one in the NBA? I don't know. What, probably Australia is probably the next biggest one, but like something where you can have four countries or something battle. I think that they need to do that. And my final topic of the day, a team that I think you guys need to be on the look for the MLB season. Now, I'm probably going to do a few takes of these, a few teams, but today I just wanted to focus on one team specifically, the Nationals. Now, yes, they were awful. Or they weren't awful last year, but they were not anything crazy. But let me read you guys this lineup. And just the top, what, five, I think, is a very respectful. Abrams, CJ Abrams, Dylan Cruz, James Wood, Nathaniel Lowe, and Josh Bell are their top five. Then you have Luis Garcia, who's a good second baseman. Then you have Kelbert, I think I might be butchering that, Ruiz. And you have Jacob Young too in the 9 spot. This team is loaded with talent, and it's not like it's going to stop anytime soon. They just got the number 1 pick. They're probably going to get the other Holiday. So that's another. And Abrams, the hype train, he should be hitting his prime right around now. He had just over, I think, 60 steals last year. I might be mistaken. And Dylan Cruz was the number 1 pick for a reason. And then James Wood, we saw what he can do in his limited time. And then Nathaniel Lowe is, I think, one of the most underrated pickups this offseason. He's a very consistent bat. He's great. He's a great, he has a great eye. So I think the only sort of question mark for them is their pitching. And that was my next point. Mackenzie Gore is their ace, and we saw last year he started off great, but he kind of fell off near the end of the year. Then you have Jake Irvin, who's another solid, okay pitcher. The two guys I really want to focus on are Trevor Williams and Mike Soroka. We saw Soroka last year with my White Sox, kind of pick up his sort of spark that he had with the A's when he went to the bullpen. He was a pretty good bullpen pitcher for the White Sox. Now, can he transfer that to the starting mound? I don't know. He's been if he can kind of bring just some of that to the mound, that's all they need, because I think this national team's offense is a top offense will be a top offense in the MLB. I really do. I think just the top 3 guys alone can start your offense off amazing. And I think James Wood is kind of that X factor. I really think he's going to be the best out of their bunch that they have, their big 3 sort of. And we saw that last year when he came up. And then Trevor Williams is another dude who's very interesting. He kind of has, his career is on and off. He's a kind of rotation, been around the league guy. They just inked him to a 2-year, I think $14 million deal, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they just signed him up. And again, I think they need to trade for a pitcher, but I think Trevor Williams and Soroka are kind of the 2 veterans that could be these difference makers for this team. I mean, we've seen a team like the Orioles in 2021 where they didn't have, a crazy ace, and they were a great team. So I think they don't need a crazy good ace. They just need a solid pitcher. And I think they're going to get that this year with either Gore, Soroka, or Williams. I think they'll have one. And then the question with them is bullpen. But, I mean, we've seen teams like the Texas Rangers, like the Atlanta Braves, who, when they won the World Series that year, their bullpen was iffy. And then in the playoffs, it locked in. So I really do think I'm going to say it now. I think the Washington Nationals will be in the playoffs this year. Yes, you heard me say it correctly. I do think they'll be in the playoffs. I think they have the talent in the lineup, and I think they can get at least 1 to 2, maybe even 3 solid pitchers, and then trade for one at the deadline. But let me know what you guys think about that take in the comments down below. Well, thanks for tuning in today's episode of The John, your daily sports dump, where I looked into the exciting weekend of college basketball coming up, why the NHL will become bigger than the NBA, and finally, the team to look out for in the upcoming MLB season. Let me know what you think about my takes in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for sports updates and hot takes in real time. And if you're looking for sports talk, check out the Sports Syllabus Show, where me and my partner tackle the hottest takes in the sports industry. It's a 2-ply discussion, strong, reliable, and always ready to clean up the messiest takes in the sports industry. Join me next time on The John, your daily sports dump, where we'll take care of business with a side of sports data. Until then, keep your game face on and stay regular. This is The John, signing off.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. Somebody open the window.